Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, I'm going to be going over my expenses for October week 4. I am a monthly budgeter and I set up everything on a monthly basis, but I do these weekly check-ins, checking in with all my expenses each week to make sure that I'm not going over the budget that I set at the beginning of the month. I track all my expenses in my expense tracker. So all my bills, groceries, everything I track in here. But specifically with this one, I check in with my variable expenses over here on the right of my spreadsheet because those are the ones that I tend to go over from week to week and month to month. I am a digital budgeter, so I do all my budgeting and tracking in this Google Sheet. If you're interested, I'll link this spreadsheet in the description box below. But all I'm going to check in with today is my expenses in this middle area and then checking in with my variable expenses over here on the right. So scrolling down to week 4. So my week 4 ranged from October 24th until October 31st. This past week, I tried to incorporate more no spend days and tried to tighten up where I could. And I was successful for the most part. We didn't really do much or spend too much. We did go to a trunk or treat this past weekend with the kids, so we didn't spend anything there. I think I just got coffee while I was there. That was it because it was so cold. But we had a lot of fun. So let's just get into this. So my first expense for this week was my HelloFresh order. We just have this on auto pay each week. It comes out. It kind of comes up at different times during the day, but every Saturday we get our HelloFresh order. It usually comes out of my bank account around Tuesday or Wednesday before that Saturday. So that comes out, it's $89.31, and that gives us 4 meals for 2 different people. We're just going to keep doing this. I actually talked to my husband about it last night, and there are aspects of it that make it really simple, but the aspect of it that isn't is probably the time it takes to cook some of the meals. But for the most part, I like not having to worry about what I'm going to make for dinner because it's already made, and all I do is just take out the sack and then take out all the ingredients and start cooking. So it's less thinking as far as that. So we're going to continue doing this. I might hold off on it in November for a week whenever we're out for Thanksgiving because I feel like we're going to have so much food that week going to different Thanksgivings. We just don't do one big Thanksgiving with the family. I kind of have it on a couple different days of the week with different sides of our family. So I think I might just pause it for a week or so during the month of November toward Thanksgiving. Yes, that came out this week, and I just put that under the food category. Our next expense was just filling up my gas tank, and that was $48.37, and I just put that under gas and car. I think this is only maybe the second or third time I filled up this month. And I went over this in my previous video, but I just haven't been driving as much this month with fall break and the kids being sick at the beginning of the month, and I didn't have to drive to work as much. So that's good. My next expense was just my cell phone bill. This is actually a fixed expense. That was the standard $96.71. My next expense is another fixed expense. It's just my 403B, and that was $93.79. And then my next expense was actually while I was at work. I had a bit of a sweet tooth this day, so I went to the vending machine and got a snack, and that was $1.35, and I just put that under food. My next expense is getting myself and my husband some coffees at the trunk or treat. It was pretty cold that day, and I wanted to get like a hot cocoa or something, but instead we just got some coffees, and so for both of ours, it ended up being $9.63, and I just put that under the food category. I kind of just lump eating out, dining out, fast food, drinks, food, everything under food category just to simplify it as much as possible. And then my next expense is actually paying ourselves. I do this toward the end of the month to make sure that we have enough money for other variable expenses. I know this is probably not the best idea. It's more important to pay yourself first then wait till the end of the month and see how much you have left. But this is just working out for me right now. Eventually, I want to get to that point where I do pay myself first. And I do actually, we do pay ourselves first in other ways, as far as like our retirement goes and my HSA, so forth and so on. There's other things. Oh, and my pension. There's other things that we do to pay ourselves first. But as far as like the sinking funds, I do wait until the end of the month to allocate where that money goes and how much money goes into it. So I was able to put $206 into our sinking fund category, which I will actually cash stuff this next week. So that's really exciting. My next expense is my student loans. This actually did not come out on the 31st. It came out toward the middle of the month, around the 18th or 20th or so. I just have it coming out of that savings account that I have my student loans in. Just for reference, I owe $8,200 in student loans. I have that money, that full amount, in a savings account currently, and I'm holding off paying those and just paying the payment, the regular minimum amount, until I figure out what I want to do. I also applied for a student loan forgiveness, and I'm just going to see if that goes through. If it doesn't, then I'll probably pay him off later, but I'm going to wait that out and see how that goes. Anyway, so that was 101. Anyway, so since it came out of that savings account, I forgot to track that. So I went ahead and just put it at the end of the month. But yeah, it did come out around the 20th this month. So that was $101, and I just put that under student loans because that's taken care of. And with that being said, that was all of our expenses for this week. So not too bad. This check-in is going to be really short and sweet. So let me go over to week 4 and see how we did. So for food, I had $45.42 remaining. I spent $100.29 this week. So I'm technically negative $54.87, which is interesting because at the beginning of the month, I had mentioned that Instacart charged me almost an additional $50 that they shouldn't have because they ordered too much and they ordered the wrong thing. So I went to the Instacart app and I communicated that with customer service, and then they sent me actually $50 back as a credit for next time that I order, which will be in November. But so that kind of balanced out. I really would have only been over maybe $5 or so, give or take. So that actually did work out, but I wish they didn't charge us that at the beginning of the month, and we would have been right at budget, if that makes sense. Not a big deal because I have that credit for next month, and hopefully I'll be under budget by $50 next month, but we'll see. Next is gas and car. I still had $164.90. I spent $48.37, so I still technically have $116.53 remaining at the end of the month. For household, miscellaneous, pups, kids, beauty, medical, fun, gifts, personal spending, I didn't spend anything and stayed under budget except for miscellaneous. I went over budget by $15.96, but $99 of this was actually a credit card annual membership fee that I forgot to budget for. So that's why I have this overage. So technically I only spent $15.96 other than that in the miscellaneous. Kids, I went over budget. I bought a toddler bed and mattress for the 2-year-old. So that's why I went over budget there. It was kind of an impulse buy, but at the same time, she did need it. And then the next thing was gifts. I was $100 or $103.75 over gifts. I knew I was going to be over in gifts because I forgot about a birthday. And I ended up buying them a gift and some food and some ice cream and cookies that day. So that's where the $100 overages came in. And I did note that on my budget spreadsheet for next year, so I didn't forget. I usually don't forget this birthday, but I don't know what happened. And then personal spending, I was only over by $1.79. So not too bad. But overall, I did go over budget so let me start with our total. So I had $35.70 remaining for week 4, and this week I spent $148.66. So technically I am over budget in all my variable categories by $112.96. So I'm going to do my budget closeout in a few days, but I do have a plan on how I'm going to take care of this overage and share with you guys how I was able to pay for this. Obviously, this isn't ideal to be over budget. There's a lot of things that I just forgot to budget for. And that's why I do this, to make a plan on what I'm going to purchase and what we need for our house so I can budget for that in the future. So that's why I'm here. That's why I do this. And that's why we share with each other here on YouTube. So again, I'm going to post my October budget closeout here in the next week so you guys can see what we did with that money. Hope you guys have a great Halloween and a great week, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.